Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Hope you're doing amazing. We're just going to wait a couple of seconds to wait for everyone to start to join. And we're going to get started because there's a lot to go through. How are you? If you're just joining, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, whether you're seeing this live or as a replay. I want to see where you are because what we're going to talk about today matters. I want to talk to one specific person on this stream. You're a senior professional in tech. You're good at what you do. You've put in the years. You've built the skills. You've delivered results. And yet, something feels off. Maybe you're underpaid. Maybe you are overworked. Maybe you're micromanaged. Maybe you're tired of politics. Maybe you are tired of proving yourself over and over and over again. And quietly, you've been thinking there has to be a better way. If that's you, stay with me for the next 25 minutes because tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific, I'm kicking off a 5-day challenge that has helped more than 1,000 senior tech professionals switch to a job that fits their life. And you can still join. If your job doesn't fit your life right now, it is not your fault. Because when professionals try to fix this, they usually go in one or two directions. Option one, they try to fix their current job. They ask for more flexibility, more time, better conditions. But here's what that actually feels like. It feels like walking into a conversation where everything you depend on is on the line. Your income, your stability, your security. So you hesitate, you soften your ask, you compromise before the conversation even starts. And most of the time, you get a partial yes or a polite no. And nothing really changes. Option two, you say, fine, I'll just find another job. And at first, that feels like control. But then you enter the process and something different happens. You start applying, you start waiting, you start competing. And suddenly, you're not in control anymore. Now you're hoping to be selected. Now you're trying to fit into what companies want. Now you're adjusting yourself just to get a chance. Here's the part nobody tells you. Both of these options feel hard for one simple reason. You are approaching them without leverage. Because if you depend on one job, you can't negotiate. You can't set conditions. You can only accept to what's given to you. And that's why your job controls your life. But the moment you have options, everything changes. The moment you have multiple offers in the same week, you stop accepting conditions. You negotiate them. Your job adapts to your life, not the other way around. That is what I call the ultimate position of power. And it is the only way to switch to a job that fits your life. Now, you've probably seen the headlines. Fast Company, Business Insider, Forbes, all saying the job search is broken. I have to tell you, the job search is not broken. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how to play chess? Now imagine you don't know how to play chess, but you decide to join a tournament. You sit down to play, and you move the pieces incorrectly. What do you think would happen? You'll be disqualified. Why? Because you're not following the rules. Is chess broken? No. You're just not familiar with how it's played. The same applies to the job search. Learn the rules, adopt the right strategy, and you won't just participate, you'll win. Now, I want to break a myth right now because there are coaches out there who will tell you applying online doesn't work, that referrals are the only way. That's wrong. When you go to war, you don't bring just grenades. You don't bring just tanks. You bring everything. Tanks, jets, ships, drones, everything. The job search is the same. You attack every channel at the same time. LinkedIn, company websites, easy apply, networking, referrals, every front. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people apply to 5 jobs, 10 jobs, maybe 20. And they spend hours on each one, tailoring resumes, writing cover letters, reading job descriptions. Our clients, they apply to 100 jobs in 2 hours. And they don't read a single job description. Let me say that again. Our clients apply to 100 plus jobs in 2 hours without reading a single job description. How? Because they have one resume built the right way, aligned with the market, and 100% compliant with the hiring software that screens applications before a human ever sees them. When your resume is built that way, you don't need to tailor. You don't need to read job descriptions. You don't need cover letters. You apply at volume with speed. And volume plus speed equals momentum. More applications means more conversations. More conversations means more interviews. More interviews means more offers. That's the system. Let me give you names and numbers, not vague testimonials. Real people, and you can find them all in my recommendations, 150 plus recommendations near the bottom of my LinkedIn profile. Daniel and I met in early March. He lives in Chicago. He was getting married on August 31st. He was a data scientist, bored out of his mind. He wanted to switch into machine learning engineering, but he had no formal experience in that role. So naturally, he had a disadvantage. He wanted to work fully remote, 100%, no exceptions. He didn't want overtime. He wanted to be paid fairly, and he wanted to feel a sense of fulfillment. We worked together for 5 weeks. In one 2-hour evening, Daniel applied to 109 jobs. That's it, one night, 2 hours. From those 109 applications, he landed interviews with 16 companies in 24 days. He received 5 job offers. 4 of them came in the same week. And because he had multiple offers at the same time, he had leverage. He negotiated, he chose. Today, Daniel is a senior machine learning engineer, higher title than what he was looking for. He's not allowed to work overtime, even when he offers. He works 100% remote. He's in healthcare, making people's lives better. And he doubled his salary. 5 weeks. Now, Chris had been at IBM for 13 years. He was being asked to do things he felt were unethical, selling services to the public sector even when they weren't needed. He was missing his son's baseball games. He was so miserable, he was willing to take a $70,000 pay cut just to escape. He came to me ready to drop from $230,000 to $160,000. I told him, if you want to take a pay cut, you don't need me. You don't need anyone for that. I don't believe in pay cuts. In less than 2 months, instead of dropping $70,000, we increased his salary by $115,000, from $230,000 to $345,000. He went from account executive to director at a company he loves. He gets to watch his son play baseball. Last time we talked, he said, I'm the king of my kingdom. I can build this as high and as large as I want. Rachel landed at Amazon in 4 weeks. AJ, director role, got laid off, back on his feet in a higher paying director role in 18 days. Kieran, $400,000 to $540,000 in 3 months. These aren't outliers. I have over 1,000 case studies like this. The pattern is the same every time, not luck, strategy. Now, I want to address the 3 things I hear most often from people watching something like this and thinking, yeah, but my situation is different. Objection 1, H1B, visa constraints. Brian, employers won't sponsor me. Here's the truth. Most employers don't sponsor anyone until they fall in love with a candidate professionally, of course. Your job isn't to find sponsors. Your job is to make employers want you so badly that sponsorship becomes worth it. We've had clients beat out unconstrained candidates this year. It works. Objection 2, age. I'm 50 plus. Companies want younger people. Wrong direction. The shift has reversed. Listen to this data carefully. Between 2022 and 2025, employment among software developers aged 22 to 25 dropped by 20%. Meanwhile, employment for developers in older age categories stayed stable or grew. Let that sink in. Junior tech hiring is collapsing. Senior tech hiring is holding up. Why? Because AI is absorbing the entry-level work. The tasks that used to be the on-ramp for junior talent, what's left is the work that requires judgment, context, real-world problem solving, experience. That's you. In the AI era, senior professionals are more valuable, not less, but you have to know how to position it. Otherwise, hiring managers default to bias and shortcuts, and you get overlooked. Not because you weren't the best candidate, but because nothing in your application forced them to see it. Objection 3. There's too much competition. I see 100 applicants on every posting, people say. Here's the truth. You're not competing with 100 people. You're competing with maybe 5 to 10 who are actually qualified. The rest don't matter. And if you position yourself the right way, you don't compete with them at all. You step out of the competition entirely. So here's what we're doing this week. 5 days, live. Each session at 8 p.m. Eastern. Day 1, tonight, is the strategy, the ultimate position of power. By the end of day 1, you'll understand exactly how senior professionals switch jobs from a position of power, not dominance. Power as choice, leverage, optionality, control over your time and your conditions. Day 2 is clarity. Most people fail because they cast too wide a net. 5 different roles, hoping something sticks. Doesn't work. We pick your destination, one role, and we reverse engineer the path there. We're in technology, that's what we do. We reverse engineer. Because choosing one role doesn't limit your opportunities, it multiplies them. Day 3 is the interview. How to become the indisputable candidate without more education, without more certifications, without knowing every answer. This is where you stop sounding like every other candidate and start being the one they remember. Day 4 is negotiation. This is where the Daniel and Chris and Kieran numbers come from. Real frameworks, real moves, how to negotiate from strength, not from fear. Day 5 is the orchestration, resume, LinkedIn, the full application strategy. One resume, no tailoring, no cover letters. If you hate them as much as I do, you will love this. This is where everything you've learned becomes a system that runs. So let me be honest about who this is for. This is for senior professionals, especially in tech, who are willing to do the work for 5 days. Show up live or watch the same day of replays. Please watch them the exact same day. Don't fall behind. Take notes. Engage. If you want to passively watch and hope something wraps off, this isn't for you. The people who finish the week with momentum are the ones who show up consistently. The people who fall behind early usually disappear by day 3, not because they aren't capable, but because life takes over. So decide right now which group you are going to be in. The investment to join is just $97. That's it. For 5 days of live training with me, teaching you the system, I charge $22,500 for one-on-one, and there's no risk. If you show up, you go through the challenge, you do the simple daily homework, and you don't feel it was worth it, I will personally refund every penny. No questions asked. Day 1 starts at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Registration is at switchjobschallenge.com. I'm dropping the link in the comments right now. If you've been sitting on the fence for weeks, months, years, quietly thinking that there has to be a better way, this is the moment. You don't need to be ready. You need to start. 2 questions before you click off this stream. Why not you? Why not now? I'll stick around for a few minutes, okay? Answering in the comments for your questions. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything at all, drop them now in the comments. I get to as many as I can before I head into day 1 prep. See you on the other side.